Jayden Lee had always been a dreamer. Ever since he could walk, he'd been running, chasing after a football in the small backyard of his family's home in St. Paul, Minnesota. His love for the game started young, sparked by Sundays spent on the couch with his father, watching the Minnesota Vikings battle it out on the gridiron. Jayden was just 10, but he knew what he wanted more than anything in the world: to play for the Minnesota Vikings. Every time he wore his purple and gold jersey, with Lee emblazoned on the back, he felt like he was already part of the team. His favorite player, Justin Jefferson, was his hero. Jayden would mimic his moves on the field, practicing for hours until the streetlights came on. At school, Jayden was known for his speed and agility. Whether it was in gym class or recess, he was always the first to suggest a game of football. His friends would gather, splitting into teams, and without fail, Jayden would be the Witterevisor, leading his team with the same passion he saw in the Vikings every Sunday. One afternoon, after a particularly exciting game, Jayden's coach pulled him aside. Coach Daniels was a tall man with a kind smile who had seen plenty of young athletes come through the school. But there was something special about Jayden. "You've got talent, Jayden," Coach Daniels said, kneeling down to meet his eyes. "But it's going to take more than just talent to make it to the NFL. You've got to work hard, stay focused, and never give up." Jayden nodded eagerly. He had heard stories of how hard it was to make it to the pros, but that didn't scare him. If anything, it made him want it more. From that day on, Jayden dedicated himself to football like never before. He joined a local youth league, playing running back and wide receiver, positions where he could use his speed to his advantage. He spent weekends at the park with his dad, practicing routes, throwing spirals, and learning the playbook inside and out. As the years passed, Jayden's skills grew. By the time he reached high school, he was one of the star players on his team. He had speed, strength, and an uncanny ability to read the game. College scouts started taking notice, and soon, Jayden had offers from several universities. But in the back of his mind, Jayden always kept his eye on the prize, the NFL. The Minnesota Vikings. He chose to attend the University of Minnesota, wanting to stay close to home and play for the same state that had supported him since he was a kid. In college, he continued to shine, becoming one of the top receivers in the Big Ten. His name started to appear in draft predictions, and the dream that had seemed so far away as a child now felt within reach. Finally, after years of hard work and dedication, the day of the NFL draft arrived. Jayden sat in the living room with his family, nervously awaiting the moment he had dreamed of his entire life. The first round, Jayden's heart raced. And then, finally, the commissioner walked to the podium. With the first pick in the 2035 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Jayden Lee, wide receiver, University of Minnesota. The room erupted in cheers. Jayden could hardly believe it. He hugged his mom tightly, Uncle Lau, Uncle Jason, and his sister Bella, tears in his eyes. The journey had been long and difficult, but he had made it. Stepping onto the field for the first time as a Minnesota Viking was a moment Jayden would never forget. The roar of the crowd, the feel of the turf beneath his feet, and the sight of the Viking horn rising above the stadium, it was everything he had dreamed of and more. As Jayden lined up for his first play, he took a deep breath and looked up at the stands. He spotted a group of kids wearing his jersey, just like he had worn Jefferson's years before. He smiled, knowing that he was now living proof that dreams really do come true. The ball was snapped, and Jayden took off, running his route with the same speed and precision he had practiced for years. The pass came his way, and as the ball settled into his hands, Jayden knew that this was just the beginning of his story with the Minnesota Vikings. Just wanted to give a big thank you to all of you for watching and supporting my content. Your likes, shares, and subscriptions mean the world to me. If you're enjoying what you see, Don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.